Welcome back to TLDR's daily briefing for Friday the 28th of February 2025. In today's episode, we cover Trump's import tariffs, foreign interference in the recent German election, and Japan's falling birth rate. But first, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer meets US President Donald Trump in Washington, DC. Donald Trump and Keir Starmer are not natural allies. As a left-wing Prime Minister, Starmer's politics appear very different to that of the Republican president. However, with the UK desperately trying to escape from the cost of living crisis and restart growth, it seems that getting on with the US is a key priority of Starmer's administration. As such, it was important that Starmer's first visit to the White House went as smoothly as possible. To ensure this happened, it's been suggested that planning took place over many months, and that the British PM did everything he could to try and get Trump on side. The most clear example of this was a letter handed by the Prime Minister to the President during the opening remarks of the visit. This was penned by King Charles, and it invited Trump to a second state visit to the United Kingdom. No president has been invited to 2 state visits before. This was just the first of many attempts to forge a cordial relationship, with both men going to pains to try and praise the other. Some of these attempts were natural, while others were more on the stranger side.
And we look forward to welcome you in the United Kingdom. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. What a beautiful accent. I would have been president 20 years ago if I had that accent.
Underlying the whole meeting, though, was uncertainty about the US's role in Ukraine. Prior to the meeting, Starmer had suggested that there couldn't be long-term peace without the US. While Trump didn't give much away about the US's Ukraine policy, other than repeating his desire to see a lasting peace, he did appear to soften his rhetoric towards Kyiv. When asked by a reporter whether he would still consider Zelensky a dictator, Trump appeared shocked, saying,
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
Trump is also meeting with Zelensky today to sign a US-Ukraine minerals deal. The meeting is taking place at 11 a.m. Washington time, or 4 p.m. in London, so we don't have the full details of the deal yet. However, Trump has made clear that he views the deal as an opportunity for the US to recoup billions of dollars worth of revenue from providing military aid to Ukraine, via access to Ukraine's vast mineral resources, while it's unclear what Ukraine will get from the deal. Kyiv has been hoping for a US security guarantee, which Trump hasn't confirmed, but there are hopes he could agree to provide at least some military or financial assistance, given his discussion about Ukraine with Starmer on Thursday. You're listening to TLDR's Daily Briefing. If you want more explainers on what's happening in the world, then you should check out TLDR's YouTube channels. Today, we released videos on Bosnia's political crisis and South Africa's coalition infighting. You can find those videos linked in the description or show notes for this episode, or by searching for TLDR on YouTube. In other news from the US, Trump said on Thursday that he would push ahead with 25% import tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada from next week, plus an additional 10% tariff on Chinese imports. It comes around a month after Trump first said he would impose import tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada, before agreeing to delay them by 30 days, after calling both countries' leaders. However, with that deadline now fast approaching, Trump said in a Truth Social post on Thursday, the proposed tariffs scheduled to go into effect on March the 4th will indeed go into effect as scheduled. World leaders are now, once again, preparing for the impacts of a wider trade war that could inflict significant damage on the global economy. In response to Trump's latest move, China's embassy in Washington, D.C. said there were no winners in a trade war, adding, the unilateral tariffs imposed by the US will not solve its own problems, nor will it benefit the two sides or the world. Over to Germany now, where the head of the Bundestag's Intelligence Committee has said that the 2025 election, which took place last Sunday, was subject to clear and successful manipulation by Russia and other foreign actors. It comes after the far-right Alternative for Deutschland, or AfD party, finished second with a record-high vote share of 20.8%. Konstantin von Notz, a member of the German Greens who chairs the parliamentary committee that oversees Germany's intelligence services, told the Financial Times that there was, quote, relevant illegitimate influence on the decision-making process. He added that while it's impossible to say how many votes were altered by manipulation campaigns, Germany has to, quote, recognize that our elections are already being manipulated, and successfully manipulated. He also said, The proximity of the vast majority of far-right parties in Europe and America to Russia should give us all something to think about. China and Russia want to disrupt the New World Order and destabilize democracies, and that's why it's no surprise that we're being attacked. Now for some news on Japan's demographic crisis. The number of babies born in Japan last year fell to the lowest level in 125 years, despite efforts by the Japanese government to reverse the decline. In 2024, according to initial figures published on Thursday, Japan recorded just under 721,000 births, a 5% drop from 2023. It's also the 9th consecutive year that this figure has fallen, and it is the lowest since records began in 1899. To address the demographic crisis, which in 2023 Japan's then Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said affected whether we can continue to function as a society, government agencies have introduced increasingly radical measures. For example, in December, Tokyo's metropolitan government announced a 4-day working week policy, which begins in April, to increase flexibility for workers in an effort to make child-rearing more appealing. That's all for today. We'll be back with you next week, so make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen. In the meantime, you can check out the latest episode of our podcast, The World Leader Leaderboard, where we discuss which heads of government are doing well and who's doing badly every week. You'll find the link in the podcast description. This was a TLDR news production hosted by Georgina Findlay, written by Ben Blissett and Georgina Findlay, and produced by Scarlett Watchorn. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back again next week.